Oh, the Stelvio Quadrifoglio is so much fun. Today, let's do a Q&A question and answer video. Pulled a bunch of these questions from Instagram. The title of the video is going to be, which car do I regret selling? And the answer to that question is my R8. It's actually almost exactly 2 years ago that I took delivery of my R8 V10 manual Spider. And that was a fun car. It didn't last long because I ended up selling it for a lot more than I bought it for after a very short period of time. But manual V10 R8s are definitely still going up in value. They are still very rare, and I do kind of wish I still had that car. I like all the cars that I sold. I would buy them again, but that's the one that I actually regret selling. I don't actually regret selling the R7. Again, another thing, it ends up being, at the end of the day, a money thing because depreciation is a factor, whereas the R8 was appreciating. The R7 is continuing to depreciate, so if I had kept it, I'd probably end up selling it for even less than I sold it for. All right, next question from Steven. Dream 2-car garage. Dream 2-car garage, budget, no question. Like, just money is not a problem whatsoever, not a consideration. Would be a Urus for my daily driver because that is still my favorite SUV right now, and then a Pagani Huayra BC because that is like my money, no option dream car. I absolutely love the way they look. They are works of art. Twin turbo V12, very, very rare. Now, obviously, those are insanely expensive. So if budget was a consideration, I would probably end up in a 991.2 GT3 manual, that 4-liter flat six that revs to 9,000 RPM. I mean, that manual is amazing to drive. 500 horsepower is plenty of horsepower in almost all situations. And then I would probably have something like this, a Stelvio Quadrifoglio as my daily practical SUV that can handle winters or whatever. I actually really like this car, or SUV, crossover, whatever you want to call it. Let's see. Next question. How are you liking Illinois? I know it hasn't been normal because of the pandemic. I get that question a lot. I just moved out to the Chicago area, and I haven't been able to do much, just working a lot between the full-time job and then doing YouTube in the spare time. So, but I've met a couple of friends out there, Mike at 312 Supercars, who've been hanging out a bit. There's a lot of really impressive car collections out there, too. The video from last week was awesome. Going to see some of the Iron Gate Motor Condos collections there. I'm sure I'm going to end up liking being out in the Chicago area a lot. What Lego set would you like to see next? That's a question from Cordell. That's actually a really good question because there's only, I'm assuming he's talking about the full like Technic sets like the GT3 RS, like the Chiron and the Sion Lamborghini that's coming out or is already out and I just haven't bought it yet. Certain Lego sets translate well to the kind of appearance of the Technic feature. What would I like to see next? I mean, selfishly, I'd like a Pagani Huayra BC because I really like that car a lot. There are a lot of cool cars. I mean, even more selfishly, I would love a Shelby GT350 R1 or something like that. And then the other thing, I need to finish that video. I have a bunch more of the sets that aren't Lego official. I have a Coding Seg set, which is pretty cool. The doors open. I have I think it's a Porsche 919 race car, the hybrid. Anyways, there's a bunch of the knockoff versions of them too. But what I like to see, the Chiron is honestly my favorite. I don't know. That's kind of random. It'd be a car that I've had before. So, there we go. I want an i8 Lego set because I love the i8, and that car deserves more attention because the design is just so cool. Next, what makes you miss the R8 so much? Yeah, this is kind of what's brought that first point up too. Just the exotic factor. A big part of it is, yes, the exotic factor. The feeling of having a mid-engine car, the iconic R8. It was like the entry-level exotic that Iron Man made popular, Tony Stark, in the movies that kind of kicked off the entire Marvel franchise. The fact that it was also fun to drive, it sounded awesome with the V10. It was a Gallardo for people who didn't want a Gallardo or couldn't afford a Gallardo, and I really liked that car a lot. It was good, and especially the fact that it was a gated manual, it meant it would go up in value. I'm going to unplug my radar detector because I'm going to drive like a responsible citizen. But yeah, that's the main reasons why I would miss the R8 so much. Any plans to get a McLaren in the near future? Unfortunately, I don't think so anymore. I was actually very close to buying one just before I bought the Shelby 350R. I was in talks with a couple owners who were selling theirs. There was a 2012 McLaren Orange 12C Coupe. There was a 12C Spider 2013, a couple cars. I was thinking about it. Unfortunately, I'm not unfortunately. I picked my sports car. That's the Shelby. I have my daily driver. I'm spending time in press cars. Hopefully, once the world returns to some semblance of normalcy, I'm going to be traveling again. So I don't know if I want to buy another car right now, just by the fact that I don't know if I have time to drive it. And I'd like to buy a house because I'm kind of annoyed with my apartment parking situation, juggling 3 cars. So probably not a McLaren in the near future. Will you take the Shelby to the track and make some videos? Yes, I will. Moving on. Not to be that guy. Just so you guys know, I like filtered all these questions already, and I picked ones that I specifically wanted to answer. But this guy, not to be that guy, but any oil consumption concerns for the GT350R? Do I have concerns? Yes, for GT350s. It's a known thing. It's a high revving, high performance motor, and it's in the owner supplement. That's like, I think, a quart of oil per 500. Am I concerned about mine? No. I've checked mine regularly over the last 2,000 miles, and luckily mine has not shown any symptoms of oil consumption. And if it were to, I'm actually not that worried at all, because I have an extended powertrain warranty and my engine's covered. I get a Gen 2 Voodoo or something. Again, I'm not concerned whatsoever. I knew about that, was very much aware of what I was getting into with this type of vehicle, and still bought it. So, not worried. Dream road trip destination and route and vehicle to take on that road trip. Ooh, I would like to do a road trip through Europe, because I haven't seen much of Europe. But knowing what I've seen of America, I'd like to go hit up all like the national parks out west, go to Yellowstone, Grand Canyon, all like the really nice national parks. America has some really nice scenery out there. And a vehicle to take on that road trip. Let me think. What would I really, really want? It would have to be something comfortable. Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. I haven't even driven one yet, but I just love the way it looks and the fact that it's like a massive 700 horsepower V12 Grand Touring luxury car. So it has the exoticness, it has the performance, and it has the comfort and luxury. Actually, no. Forget the DBS. Ferrari 812 Superfast. Having driven that car, it is one of the most flawless vehicles I've ever driven, and I absolutely love it because naturally aspirated V12 and 800 horsepower is more than what the DBS makes, and more is always better. Unless, never mind. Would you trade your GT350R for a GT350? No. Why would I? I bought a 350R because I wanted the R. So that question, I don't know why I included that question. This one's good. From Rob Dom. Is Rob Dob your favorite Dom, and why so? Disregard who asked the question. Well, Rob, you did ask the question. And if I answer this question truthfully, Rob is going to be upset with me. But Rob is awesome. Known Rob for a couple years. When I was first introduced to him, it was the guy who makes YouTube videos, who was on The Bachelor and has a yellow Lamborghini. I was like, cool. But Rob's been great. I love seeing his four-rotor come to life, all the crazy projects he's working on. But Kevin is also very cool. Kevin is Rob's brother, and Kevin lets me drive his McLaren. And I love McLarens. So Rob, that might be the answer right there. Best bang for your buck car under $30,000. Now, I hate these kind of questions because they're so open-ended. There are a lot of considerations when you're picking a car. There are a lot of cars under $30,000. I mean, you're talking anything from a brand new Ford Fusion to a GTI to a Mustang. I mean, there's a lot of options. If making a blanket statement like something like maybe an Audi S4 is a good choice, it's something I picked for an all-around. A 3 Series can be a similar equivalency of type of vehicle. Or if you want a sports car, a Camaro SS1LE or a Mustang Performance Pack, slightly used, you can definitely get those for under $30,000. And that's a fun sports car, loud, great-sounding V8, fast, track-capable, all sorts of things, practical, except if it snows and you want to put winter tires on it, but it'll be okay. So there's a lot of options. If you have specific questions, if you're looking or shopping, a lot of times people will DM me directly on Instagram, and feel free to do that. I'll try to help as I can. Oh, my friend Megan Fox, have you considered getting a car that is not black/gray? Yes, I have, Megan. I have absolutely considered it because I have a white pickup truck right now. But in all seriousness, I do want a brightly colored vehicle at some point. I was looking into getting an Orange Fury GT350 or GT350R, just couldn't find one, so ended up in a lead foot gray, so I seem to keep gravitating back towards these Nardo gray, lead foot gray type of colors, although it's only been 2 cars. But I would want something colorful, and I promise that I will have an exotic car in a Skittles colored color. I would like that, or I will wrap something a cool color too. But yes, I will get something colorful. Need colorful. GT350R M4 GTS cross shopping. Yes, thanks. Yes, 350R. I mean, that's what I bought. So when people ask me these type of questions, I think my biggest endorsement is the fact that I bought it with my own money. So therefore, I'm going to tell you that. Like, that's the highest recommendation I can give a car is if I want to put it in my own garage and own it. So 350R. M4 GTS, I never drove one, but I was just like, all right, the ingredients were interesting. The water injection, the carbon wheels, and the big aero pack and stuff like that, and limited production. So it had some cool things to it, but do I think it was worth what they were charging? And I don't know what the used values are. I hope they're similar to 350Rs if this guy's asking about picking between the two. But 350R for me all day. That flat plane crank V8 is just so unique and special, and they aren't going to make a motor like that ever again, in my opinion. What cars impressed you or most exceeded your expectations? Ooh, I should have done more thinking before I started doing this video because I don't have an answer. The C8. I'd say the C8. I was very, very impressed with it. I knew going to mid-engine would do cool things for it, make it feel a little more exotic, and the ingredients were good, but getting to experience it on the roads, these amazing back roads on the Chevy press launch for the C8, and then getting to track it at Spring Mountain, chasing down a C7 ZR1, I was very, very impressed. They did a really good job taking the C8 to the exotic level. They did a really good job making it seriously fast, a serious performance car. And yeah, the C8 actually did exceed my expectations, especially given the fact that it's just the Stingray. It's the base car. I'm going to flip a U-turn because there's construction ahead of me. Yeah, but the C8 Stingray definitely really, really impressed me. I like that car a lot. It exceeded my expectations. Top 3 most reliable exotics for the money. Let me do a 3-point turn. The first one is going to be anything of the 5.2 Audi Lamborghini platform. So we're talking R8s and Huracans. And I would include actually the 14 and 15 R8s with the S-Tronic 7-speed dual clutch, because those are essentially Huracans in second gen. It's the same platform, really. So those are really solid. I'm going to add 458 to that list too, because I know somebody who has almost, I think he used just over 90,000 miles on his 458, and with the included maintenance and service, he's only put, I think, tires on it. It's still on or maybe a set of brake pads. Anyways, like nothing major. And when driven, those are apparently very, very reliable. And then it discounts an exotic, but it's a borderline. Porsche's Turbo S, even GT3, GT3 RS. A little less so, but like a Turbo S is a pretty dang solid vehicle, and it's definitely borderline exotic supercar. But if you're looking for reliable, that is definitely an answer there. Best advice for smaller YouTubers? First off is definitely enjoy doing it. Enjoy making the videos, because I wouldn't view it as like I want to make money off this, because there isn't much money. Even if you get to a moderate size, it's not like you're raking in tens of thousands of dollars. It's not the goal. And I've actually noticed in my past experience when YouTubers get too obsessed with the money and the monetization and doing this and just trying to get all the brain deals and everything into it, it becomes a little less fun. When it's a business, it's no longer a passion. And enjoy doing it, have fun, try to be unique. And that's how I've been doing it. So I'm taking my own advice, because this is an enjoyable part-time hobby outside of my full-time job that I happen to be able to drive really cool cars like the Stelvio Quadrifoglio Aglio. Generally, would you prefer a coupe or a cabriolet, all else being equal? If it's a hardtop, I will take the hardtop convertible. If it's a soft top, I will take the coupe. My R8 was an exception to that. I didn't think I was ever going to buy a soft top, and I don't think after having it I would do it again. I do kind of miss having convertible, but soft tops just don't look as good with the top up. And I actually had one little issue where I went through, I was one of those touchless car washes, and like water started dripping in from the corner. I was like, wait, what's going on here? That's not good. So I exited that. Anyways, coupes. I think hard tops are nice, but hardtop convertibles are good too. So I just kind of didn't really answer that question. Any advice you have to offer other young professional car enthusiasts? Well, what makes you professional up to a certain point? There's careers available. You can look into like bumpy road. SEMA offers a lot of like different options for people to become educated and build the networks that you need to be part of the automotive industry. I technically went to college. For something that was going to feed my professional car enthusiasm as a mechanical engineer. I then realized I didn't really like doing that. So there's too many answers to a question like this. Just do what makes you happy, I guess, and that still pays the bills. Which is better, the sedan or SUV of the Quadrifoglios? I am going to say the SUV. This one right here. Only because it has all-wheel drive, and it does a much better job of putting the power down. Launch control in this, or pseudo-launch, whatever you want to call it, brake boosting it, accelerating aggressively in this is hysterical. It is a lot of fun, and it's more practical in this. I honestly think pretty much just as fun to drive as a Giulia. Does it actually comparably handle like a sports car? No, I wouldn't say it's a sports car. This is Paul asking about the Stelvio Quadrifoglio. It handles like a good sports sedan. I would say it handles better than my Audi RS7, which is saying something because that's a sports sedan. But like a sports car, like no, I wouldn't even compare this to even a regular Mustang or Camaro. It might be as fast in certain metrics or faster, but it doesn't handle quite the same way just because mass, size, physics is just against you. You can't overcome that with this level. If you give it a Urus, you will overcome it because that has a lot more money and technology into it, like active anti-roll bars and crazy stuff like that. Last question. How did you meet James, aka the Strand Man, through Lambo Jesus? No, I actually met James. I know we've known each other since we were both long ago. Me on the other YouTube channel, James on his channel when we were both smaller. And then I think I actually finally met him in person at Monterey Car Week, maybe like 4, 5, 6 years ago. We were at one, I think at Pebble Beach. Anyways, we've known each other. We've talked back and forth. Whenever we're both in the same location, we'll meet up and say hi. Hung out last week, so I would consider James a friend. Same with Alex, Lambo Jesus. I actually have no clue how I met Lambo Jesus. I don't remember at all. But Alex is great. He's got his Murcielago is so cool. I need to go out to Arizona to visit him, but the world is currently ending. So there we go. That was kind of stream of consciousness as I enjoy driving the Stelvio Quadrifoglio, answering some questions. Hope you guys enjoyed this fun little video. Just trying to connect with you guys. Always feel free to message on Instagram, DM me, interact over there, comment below, email, whatever. This is all about having fun with cars, and it's day. I hate the drama stuff. I just want to spend time with cool cars and hang out with my friends. And with that, make sure you guys stay tuned for some upcoming videos, the review of this car for sure. That is coming. And with that, I'm going to go home, edit this video, and post it to the YouTube. See you guys.